So classy. Here's a story about the holes in my earlobes. Someone has requested that I speak about my stretched earlobes. So here's the story, guys. A long time ago, I decided to get my ears stretched out. I did so because I wanted to. Just because I felt like it. They are a 0 gauge, and it took me approximately 20 minutes to get to this size. And here's how. So I went to a studio in Lower Manhattan. I don't know exactly where, not gonna mention the name. So what I did basically was pierced my earlobes and stretched up to the size that I am now. So the reason I did this is I don't know, like I did my research and everything. I looked up tons of videos, the effects of what would happen if it went wrong, how it's supposed to look, what a blowout was, this and that, like all of the effects that could possibly happen. And I thought about it a lot. Then I decided to go for it. I decided I was just gonna buy a kit and stretch up by myself slowly but surely, and I was gonna go ahead and do it. And I walk up to the guy and I'm like, yo, so I wanna stretch up my lobes, and so I want to buy a kit. My goal is 00 gauge. He basically said I can sell you a kit or I can stretch it up for you to the size that you want. I was not expecting him to answer with that. I thought I was going to be buying my kit and getting out, but apparently that was not the case. I honestly didn't know what to do because I was not expecting that, so I was kind of like, oh, so what? He told me that he could either pierce my lobe to a bigger size and then stretch it up to the zeros, or he could just cut out a 0 gauge sized hole in my earlobe. I was like, whoa, no, you're not cutting up my earlobes, okay? I thought about it and I was like, ugh. So I was just like, you know what? Whatever, fine. Save me some time, I guess. I made a down payment and then I went back, I think a couple days later. And then I filmed it. And I'm going to
shoot
bump
you right
up
to 8 millimeters.
I'm gonna bump all the way up to zeros by the time I get out of here.
It's really just an issue of like as we go. It's gonna happen real fast.
Okay, so I don't even know if this compares to getting my first tattoo.
That one went a lot smoother through your vulcanization than the other one did. Stretch one. There it is. Ready?
Coño.
Yeah. I just stretched your ear. Also a little. How do they feel?
They feel like shit.
Way to be honest.
When I first got it done and then I left, and I was totally fine, but then I'm very particular with balance. I noticed that it wasn't even. It wasn't so uneven that you can see it from a distance, but if you really like took a close look at my ears, you would see like this one is a little bit higher than the other one, and then whatever. But that didn't necessarily bother me too much, so I didn't really pay any mind to it because I was not gonna cut up my earlobe to get it fixed. But because he pierced it so high up here, I have a very small scar tissue. When he pierced my left ear with the 10 gauge needle, the needle was a V-shaped needle, so when he cut it, it cuts out like a V shape, and then this flap of skin was left behind. During the healing process, he put the rubber of the tunnel on top of this flap so that it loses blood circulation and it falls off, but I was messing with it too much, so only part of it fell out, so I still have a piece of it left. That doesn't bother me too much because no one really is gonna see it. I mean, I don't think I want to get it cut off either. That's traumatizing. I'm okay with it now. It doesn't bother me at all. I noticed that it was not healing properly. This ear was fine, but then this ear was bothering me so much. Like the irritation would not go away. It was still red all the time. After the 4 months of me dealing with this irritation, basically I just removed the tunnels and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna let it breathe, let it shrink as small as it can go, and then I'll stretch back up. Because he pierced my earlobe at a 10 gauge, I knew that my lobes would never shrink back below that size, so I was perfectly fine with having a gaping hole in my ear. I left it there to air out for as long as I could so the irritation completely went away and then my ears were back to normal. I went to a shop that had some spiral plugs. I was gonna use these to slowly and gradually spin the spiral and bring it back up, and so I had it about halfway, but then by the next day after a warm shower it easily just slipped back up to 0 gauge and it was just fine. That's my stretched ear story. I don't know what else to say now. But don't do as I did, because this is incorrect. Don't do what I did. Alright, so take it easy and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.